As one travels the 80 miles to the southern frontier with Israel, all the outward signs of progress thin away to nothing. These are areas where no tourist goes, where a military permit is needed before journalists and television crews can enter. Our journey ended in a valley they call El Maj, among scenes of ploughing and planting that throw back to the roots of our traditions. For this is the land of the Bible, of the sower and the stony ground of the parables. But the 20th century with its strife and conflicts is not far away, and the watchful presence of the Lebanese army is now part of this landscape. Since the time of Christ, men have moved freely about the Levant, from Damascus to Tyre, Jerusalem to Tripoli. Now the countryside has been split by frontiers and barbed wire, and it lies uneasily on the land. This is the actual frontier with Israel. These are ancient, settled lands where peasants have reaped and sown for thousands of years. On the other side of the frontier, the unmistakable texture of Europe, farm buildings, apartments and brick villas guarded by the Israeli army. This is a place of contrasts and glaring tensions. Along the length of the frontier, people have become accustomed to alternating peace and turmoil. Sometimes, under the impact of shelling, the villagers take cover and wait for the conflict to pass. Only when things seem beyond recall do they desert their villages for good and move permanently to the towns. We are in the Arqub, a valley abandoned by the Lebanese army and now completely controlled by the Fedayeen, Palestinian commandos. The Lebanese villagers have fled, and now only the Palestinian guerrillas remain. For these men, it is only one incident in an extended struggle with a powerful foe. For the Lebanese peasants, it is utter deprivation and ruin. But however strong the emotional link between Arab and Arab, the presence of Palestinians in such quantities and disposing of such force must set up a series of strains and pressures throughout the fabric of Lebanese society. Though the forces of the 20th century threaten to tear the fragile unity of the Arab world apart, though Lebanese may turn on Palestinian, Arab on Arab, brother on brother, beneath the tensions and destructions, there is a deep bond which unites them. To sense it at its strongest, we return to Cairo, to the funeral of Kulthum, the legendary singer whose performances united Arabs as no other event could, at whose concerts strong men cried, and a single song of love or patriotism could last half the night.
وعبيرا من سلام
1 million people came to her funeral, drawn from every Arab nation. They mourned as one of the cornerstones of their common Arab heritage was laid to rest, as a voice that had spoken to them in a shared language of a shared heritage was stilled. True, in their grief, their unity, their sense of Arabness came more from emotion than reason, owed nothing to a common country or color, but for them it was nonetheless real for that. Ask anyone here, are you an Arab? And every man in this crowd would answer unhesitatingly, yes, for his heart would tell him so.